Namaste. Hi, I'm Gayatri, and I'm going to talk today about Ahimsa. So, Ahimsa means non harming or non injury, and it's the first of the yamas. So, the yamas are the first limb of yoga, and there's five of them. They are kind of rules or guidelines, I should say, about how we interact with other people. And this is to create the most peaceful environment to support our yoga practice. So, the very first one is not harming, not injuring. And we know for most people that physical harm is something that we should avoid. We know not to hit other people, not to, hurt other people physically. But ahimsa, the concept, also includes thoughts and words as well. So words, I think that's also clear how they can harm people. You can say bad things about people to someone else, create negative energies or actions towards them. And you can also say, harmful things to someone, to their face, and that causes them harm in their mind. But the most subtle kind of non harming is with the thoughts. And that's one that we may not understand as how it can harm people with our thoughts. But if you think of a couple of examples that you may have experienced, you can see this. So, one thing is how our thoughts, our negative thoughts or harmful thoughts about other people affect us. So, if you're having some kind of negative thought towards someone, you're wishing harm or you're wishing ill on someone, then that energy of that thought is in your own mind. So you're actually drawing that harm to yourself. So that's one way it can harm you. And then the thoughts can also harm the other person. So if you've had an experience maybe of being in a room and somebody walks in the room and suddenly the energy of the room shifts, and you might have had that experience where everyone suddenly feels really happy, right? Because a certain person walks in the room, or it can go the other way where someone walks in the room and suddenly the energy downshifts and there seems to be a negative energy that's coming in. So that person hasn't said or done anything in this example, but people feel it. So energy is real. We are used to thinking about what we can touch, taste, smell, being real, but energy is also real and thoughts are also real. So we can affect other people with the energy of our own thoughts, as well as that they affect us and create those negative patterns in our mind. And my friend Dada Maheshwarananda likes to tell this story about that, so the extreme form or the highest form of ahimsa is not just non-harming, but it's actually giving some benefit. And in this story that he tells, there's a prisoner who someone had told him that he could use his thoughts, and so that if he would just look at people and think, I love you, it will create an energy, a positive energy between him and that person. And so this guy goes around all day in the prison and looking at the guards, looking at the other prisoners, and just thinking in his mind, I love you. And sending that energy of love to them. And what ended up happening is people noticed how he was always seeming to be in a good mood, how he didn't get in fights with people, how other people started to treat him very nicely. And this, he hadn't done or said anything outwardly, but he was thinking in his mind. So this is an exercise that anyone can try. You can go throughout your day and just, as you're encountering people, look at them and send an energy of love and think, I love you. They don't even have to be present. You can do it to somebody who you know, who's in another place. And just see. You can try it for yourself and just see what happens. How does that affect you? How does that affect the people around you? So this is a little exercise to do to practice ahimsa in its extreme form. Of course, there's also other ways we can practice ahimsa, and One way I want to talk about is with their yoga practice, because a lot of times we look at a yoga pose and maybe think we're supposed to do it in a way that's not healthy for our bodies. So we might try to overstretch or overexert our body. So it's really important as you're doing yoga practice, as you're doing yoga poses, to always keep attention inside and notice what's happening in your body, if this expression of the pose is the right one for you. And you can tell that by if you're in pain or discomfort. A little discomfort is okay as you push yourself, but there's this kind of discomfort that's going to the point of harm that we want to avoid. So yoga is not like, when you're exercising and trying to be competitive in a physical activity, that's not for your body. Oftentimes that's even done to the point where people injure themselves, right? But yoga is not, the purpose of yoga is not to have the perfect pose or have your pose look like someone else's. It's to be beneficial and good for your body. So we want to avoid any harm to ourselves in our yoga practice. And similarly, our thoughts, we want to keep beneficial to ourselves and others in our yoga practice. So if we're practicing yoga with other people, not judging how they're doing, yoga, and not comparing ourselves to them, not judging ourselves. So maybe a pose is something that we're struggling with, or a yoga practice we're struggling with, to avoid negative thoughts or negative energies about that, and to just hold ourselves in this light of compassion and love and understanding. That's a practice of ahimsa. And so we can practice that, of course, not only in our yoga practice, but throughout our lives in every way. So I hope that this helps you to have some ideas of how to practice ahimsa, and you can try it out. Namaste.